There we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I just want to acknowledge you all for being here today, taking an hour out of your life to learn. And I know a few of you have to leave early, and I said that's totally great because I am recording this. So you will have access to this. Couple of housekeeping items. You're going to want to take a lot of notes. I don't know how much Q&A we'll get to. It sort of depends. I took a couple different breaks during the course. So as best I can, I do want to field questions. However, if you put them in the chat also, I am going to save the chat and prepare content for Friday. I actually didn't completely compare the content for the second class because I want to give you incredible value. Now, for some of you guys, there's a handful of you who've been working with me already. Maybe you took my list build course. I know a few of you are my students of that course. So some of today might be review, okay? And I remember hearing from all of my coaches and mentors, and even as an athlete training, you can't run a marathon on the first day, right? So you can't learn all about list building on the first day. And oftentimes you only hear what your brain is ready to comprehend. So I'm excited for those of you that have been with me for a while, because now you're actually going to hear something that you might have missed the first, second, or even 10th time, because I know some of you are part of my NowSite family, so you hear from me a lot on list building. So first and foremost, I'm going to go over, share my screen, share the agenda for today. This is a free sneak peek week at a 30-day or 6-month or 12-month course that I actually am kicking off next week. So if you don't know me super well, because I have a few of you that I just met, it's really cool. I actually love being able to say, practicing what I teach. There's people that signed up for today that I've never met. I don't even know how they get in my email list. That's the power of what I'm going to share with you guys today. So again, Lois Kofi, based here in Southern California. I am a sales trainer and podcaster, owner of Lois Kofi Enterprises. And I have two outcomes today. Number one, give you an awesome experience of coaching, 50 to 55 minutes. We will end right at the bottom of the next hour. And of course, for those that are interested, I'm probably going to talk more about it on Friday, because I want to make sure you get really good value today. But for those of you who want to, I do have, like I said, that program that starts next week. So I want to go over that with you. And congratulations to Elena Reinhardt, who signed up yesterday to join us. So for those who don't know my story, and I'm actually going to share it a little bit differently today, specific to list building. I was in real estate right out of college. I found I was kind of unemployable. I didn't like desk jobs. I didn't like sitting on my butt for 8 hours a day. So I was like super gregarious, out there in the world, extrovert, face to face, belly to belly, kneecap to kneecap, old school sales, at least what we call old school now in this new normal. And I did really well right out of the gate, working part-time, not nights and weekends, actually just daytime hours. I actually made 6 figures in real estate. And that was 2000 into 2001. However, I had this huge dream, right? We all have dreams, and this goes really well with what happened in 2020. I had a huge dream of being a millionaire by the time I was 30. I wanted to be a millionaire, not just to say, oh, I'm a millionaire. I wanted to give a lot of money away. I wanted to help charities. I wanted to be able to travel the world and be philanthropic. And I don't know what your dream is for 2021. I'd love to hear it if you want to share it in the chat. If you have a big, hairy, audacious goal like I did back then. However, as fate, destiny, divine providence would have it, whatever you believe, I had a massive awakening, a massive shift in 2006 into 2007. I went from making multiple 6 figures in the real estate industry, being a sales trainer, coaching all of my lead generation and prospecting techniques, work-life balance, all the things that I do teach now through list building. I lost it all. I was homeless, living on the kindness of my friends or my brother. I slept on his floor in San Diego for 3 months, trying to pick up all the pieces that I lost. I had my bank accounts cleaned out, properties that went through foreclosure. I had to let go of all of my staff, which was devastating. I couldn't pay my bills. My cell phone got turned off. And instead of being a millionaire by the time I was 30, I had my car repossessed the day before my 30th birthday. And I'll never forget that moment. It was a huge turning point for me and a wake-up call. I had to learn how to sell from my home, which I never did. I was always an office kind of gal. I had to learn how to do telecoaching, teleseminars. I had a bicycle, but it wasn't quite the same going to meet people face to face, belly to belly when I was, sweating in the Southern California sun, right? So I was like a phoenix rising from the ashes, and I had deja vu in 2020. That deja vu meaning, we had a pandemic, quarantine. You couldn't meet people face to face, belly to belly anymore. And there was another piece in that journey that I'm also very passionate in sharing is I kind of had a fork in the road. I had mentors who said, Lois, in this situation, you've got to start an email list. Start email marketing. And I am a writer, so it actually made sense. They were actually saying, Lois, you should do this because it can help you create leverage. It can help you make money while you sleep. And I was really negative about it. And I was skeptical, even when one of my first coaching clients was a copywriter. And he was telling me how he was going to be just like his mentor, who literally had created this asset called a list, an email list. And he was doing very, very well. And he didn't want to ever have debt. He didn't want to use credit cards for travel. He didn't want to, have to go get a loan. He wanted to go to his ATM, also known as his list. And he would craft an email, send it out with an amazing offer. Keep in mind, he had this list for years. He'd been building value, giving value, asking, giving offers. He had a system down. He sent that email out and he made the 10 grand because he knew how many leads he had. He knew the price point of the offer. He knew what he needed to say to evoke a purchase of something, again, that had value that his list wanted. So he had his 10 grand. He could go take his trip. And even with that, I was like, I don't know about this. So I also had a lot of trauma. I was sick for 5 years, depressed, anxiety, gut health. And I was so skeptical and so negative that I just shut that up. I shut that door and I went on and stuck with the face-to-face, belly-to-belly, safe zone that I knew. I also recognized in that moment, I was afraid to speak my truth. I was afraid after this massive failure that I just went through to share my story, to have an email list, to be a speaker, and to do all the things. So I actually squashed a huge dream. And fast forward today, those people that told me to build an email list and monetize it, guess what? They're multimillionaires today because that was 13 years ago. So the moral of that story is, guys, don't be afraid of email list building. I really want you to learn from my, and I'm not going to call it a mistake. It was a lesson that I was meant to learn to be able to, I believe, share with you today and not be afraid to speak my truth anymore and to go out. I'm really just only 6 to 12 months ahead of most of you because guess what? A year ago, guys, I didn't have an email list. I didn't have landing pages. I didn't really care about lead magnets. None of that was a part of my universe until April of last year is when I jokingly call it, and I don't want to offend anyone here, but I got religion real fast about email list building. And I said, okay, coaches, teach me. I need to learn. I need to know how to do this because I'm homeschooling. I just had, 2 tremendous big deaths in my family. I was going through a grieving process as well. And I know that there's a lot of people out there from 2020 who can relate to my story. And I want to help you and them pivot. So all of the last 13 years prepared me to be able to go from 0 people in my email campaign to where I am today, being able to put 4 to 5 figures a month in income, going from starting at 0 in just really about a 6 to 7 month period of time. I was able to take a whole 8 days off during the holidays and into the new year, and the money kept coming in because I had this email list. So I'd love to know, what is your goal? What is your dream that you would like to fulfill by having an email list? I also want to plant this seed of greatness inside of you and belief, because again, I had a lot of stinking thinking back in the Great Recession. I didn't believe my voice mattered. I didn't really want to build a tribe at that time. However, people are starving for leadership. They're starving for inspiration. And it doesn't even have to just be through email, right? You can build a tribe on Facebook, LinkedIn. Clubhouse is kind of a big thing right now. I'm not really familiar with it, but there's all these different forums. However, I believe email is the best way, if not the first, maybe the second, on how to build that tribe and be heard, because Facebook, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, those are not just one-way voice messages. People are getting shiny objects and distracted. They don't see your posts all the time. They don't hear from you directly because there's so many other people and a lot of noise. But with your email list, or if you do text campaigns, I know Elena's going to be doing a lot more of that. Your voice matters, and you could save a life this year. You could change someone's story because of your product, your service, by sharing your voice through email campaigns. I also launched a podcast last year as another way. I'm just sharing a couple other ideas of ways for you to get some of my content for free, but also think about, what can you do in 2021 that could be another way to have your voice be heard. Really quickly, I am going to cover this is my own sales methodology. I have 4 steps. I'm going to touch on the first 2 and then dive into the lead magnets and the why and the behind the things about landing pages. We're going to be doing most of that today. Friday is we're going to be doing more of the how to get people into your email list. So I just want to set that stage and expectation for you. So first things first, step number 1 on how to build a list. And I know some people are like, Lois, I don't need to talk about mindset. And I'm here to tell you, I can give you all the to-dos, all the secrets, all the things that you got to do in order to succeed at list building. If I did that first, you wouldn't understand it. You wouldn't have the right mindset. You're just looking for instant gratification or a quick fix. I have to tell you, just like I did last year, I hired coaches to help me pivot because my mindset was really negative around email lists still, even as late as April of last year. So I want to talk about that briefly today. I'm also going to talk today about the time management. How do you fit this in to your space? I coach a lot of people now on list building. And without blocking time out and possibly creating leverage, like I have a great virtual assistant, full disclosure, that is only $6 an hour, that helps me leverage and get people into my list. That's why when I said earlier, there's some people that signed up for this today that I've never even heard of or can't remember how we met or connected. She's helped me with some of that. And then of course, on Friday, we're going to talk more about the online lead generation, prospecting mastery, and of course, CRM and tools and things of that nature. And then I'll share with you my class syllabus briefly at the end. So this goes really, really in alignment with what I talked about earlier. You know, I had this negative thought process about email campaigns. You might want to journal and write down, what do you think about email campaigns? I judged them because I thought they were spammy. I thought they were just flooding my inbox, and one more thing I would end up deleting. I thought it was essentially a time waster for the people that were doing it, because again, I had habits and patterns for over 20 years in sales where I was smiling and dialing. I would even do door knocking because I didn't really want to do the email thing, right? And a lot of times people, if you've seen the movie Glengarry Glen Ross, they think, well, even cold calling can be interrupting someone's day and they're not really happy about it. Or your email might be an interruption to someone's day. I'm here to tell you, if you listen to what I say today and Friday, if you have an abundant, loving, coming from really a heart-centered, spiritually grounded space, You are not interrupting anybody's day. You are not a sleazy car salesman, email campaign builder. You got to set the stage and believe in you, that you have incredible value. Because here's the bottom line, and I've worked with subconscious mind coaches myself. I still have a therapist to help me because left to my own devices, if I didn't have my coaches, even my therapist, my support system, I could say, you know what? I don't want to interrupt someone's day with my email. I don't really have anything to share. Who's going to listen to me, right? If you even have one shred of that deep down in your subconscious, you won't take what I give you and be successful with it. It's just like anything else. Just like when I was coaching thousands of runners and triathletes back in the day, they had to believe that they were a marathoner before they even laced up their shoes. And we have some, different Stanford studies have said we have somewhere from 160 to 200,000 thoughts a day. And about 90% of them are so ingrained in our subconscious from our childhood, our traumatic experiences. I can relate to that. Even in your adult life, if you've had a divorce or if you've, lost a loved one, or maybe you lost your job last year, maybe your sales went down, and like me in the recession, you're like, man, this sucks. I can't afford to pay my rent, my mortgage, my car note. If we focus on that, that's what expands. What I want you to do is right now, if you are able, write an affirmation about email campaign building or something along the lines of like, I have great value to give to my email list. Write that down. I have great value to give to my email list, and talking about lead magnets and all of the things that you're going to put out there. You got to believe in yourself, because what you think about impacts your actions. I've had a lot of people say, yeah, I want to add 500 people to my email list this month. And guess what? Because they didn't focus on their mindset first every day, they didn't hit their goal. So we're always course correcting, always reevaluating, always reflecting on a daily basis. So your thoughts are going to impact your actions, impacting your results. An email list doesn't build itself. We also know that if your business is not on the internet, meaning email campaigns, landing pages, lead magnets, all of the things, then your business will be out of business. I have a lot of clients now who are so grateful that they started working with me late last summer because their business is now thriving, growing, developing. It took about 90 days. 1 month really isn't enough to be able to figure out all these new things. And unless you can afford to outsource and hire someone, a lot of it, you're going to be building bricks foundationally to get your business on the internet so that you don't go out of business. So what I like to share with people is that your wealth is through your sphere of influence, or in this day and age, what I call it is your email list. And if you come from a spiritually grounded service focus, you can create limitless leads in organic sales online approach to create a limitless life, to experience your best health and your best wealth. My own experience last year, because of all the stress that happened in the first 6 months, I started getting health challenges in the late summer months. And I was able to take some time off starting in September. And I was blown away. The money kept coming in because my emails kept going out. Again, it took me a few months to get to that, but it was such a gift, guys. I cried when I would check my email and I got money coming in from a source that had happened as a result of my email list. Now, how many of you here would like to make money while you sleep? Go ahead and raise your hand or drop it in the chat. You can say, show me the money, whatever. Time off, maybe, it's not all about the money. I want to remind you guys that I just use that as that's a tangible result, right? But think about the other tangible results. Being able to take a week or two off, being able to spend time with the loved ones. I actually apologized to my kids last year and said, you know what? I started getting into really unhealthy workaholic habits, and building this email list afforded me the time to take off, to spend with my kids, to get to know them much deeper. They're 7 and 11. I don't know if you guys have kids or grandkids. You know, life was meant to be built by design so you can enjoy it, not just work through it. So I want you guys to work smarter, not harder. So that's all I'm going to talk about on mindset, because I know some of you guys are in my course or you've taken my past stuff, but I just wanted to reiterate that because the email list doesn't build itself. You got to have the right mindset. Next thing from my 4 steps of the Kofi sales formula, and then we'll move on, is how to be a master steward of your time. Now, what I've discovered, and this was something that I had to go all in. I had to be sold out on building an email list. Kind of another takeaway transition from the mindset. And it's because, and that's what I was joking, I got religion real fast, because remember, I had learned, had I started my email list 13 years ago, I would probably be living in New Zealand already. That's my goal. That's one of my big, hairy, audacious goals in the next 3 to 5 years. I would maybe be owning an island. I would have been able to give a lot more money away to people who were hurting in 2020. So think about your future self and what you want to accomplish, right? And I had to learn from the pain points, right? But that's where I actually probably spent, guys, anywhere from 5 to 10 hours a week, April, May, and June, in order to get my list from 0 to 2,000. Now, some of you are like, whoa, that's too much. And don't worry about it. I teach, you only really need a good solid list of 1,000 actual, members who love you, who fall in love with you because of your emails. They want to get your emails. They want to open your emails, right? So 1,000 people in your email list has been proven to be $1 million asset. Okay. So you don't have to have 2,000. You don't have to, it took me 3 months to get to 2,000 also. But I just wanted to I wanted to manage your expectations of what is necessary and what is needed to build that list and build it well. And again, I can help you with all that. Structure is critical. A lot of people are already giving up on their New Year's resolutions by now, right? When I was in the health and fitness industry, it was a given. The parking lot was full in January at the gym. And then I could get my front row, spot in February 1st, because most people had said, it's too much work. Right? So I would set a goal. I'm going to ask you to write this down, and you can put it in the chat if you want. You don't have to. Is how much time do you think you can commit to building your email list? Keep in mind that also includes landing pages, lead magnets, getting people organically into your list, but also through social media and landing pages and things like that. How much time are you willing to commit? Write that down, share it in the chat if you want, on a weekly or daily basis to build this asset. And remember, guys, this is the best part of everything that I teach. I work myself out of a job. Because my goal, whether you work with me for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, any of those time frames can work depending on how much you work, how much time you commit. I want you to get to that list, have your landing pages, your email campaigns, all of the stuff done. You build it once, you get paid forever. There's not many things that we do in sales, unless you can hire a telesales person, whether you can hire a sales force. I don't know if that, works for you. Even if you are in network marketing and direct sales, you still have a sales force. And if they don't have an email list, they're probably still doing the phone call thing. They're doing the awkward posting and messaging on Facebook thing. I had a lot of pushy people. It was like once the pandemic hit, a lot of pushy people would be sending me messages. Hey, buy my stuff, join my team. That's not what I'm going to teach you to do. So again, think how much time per day or per week. One of my favorite, and I know Cheryl is here, a few of you guys have read this book. I'm certified as part of my passion if helping you live your best life, have your best health, your best wealth, your best wisdom. Intentional focus, tunnel vision on 12 weeks as opposed to 12 months can get you way farther. And like I shared with you, it took me April, May, June. That was my 12-week year. Oh, by the way, where I focused 5 to 10 hours a week as part of my 12-week year professional goal to get that 0 email list to 2,000. So if you want any, free resources or just buy the book, it's a beautiful thing. So now that you know this takes time and you want to make the time, it's not just going to show up on your calendar, right? You got to take out a pen or whatever your planner, if you use paper or Google, and actually figure out what time of day, how many leads. Those are all the questions, and you can take a screenshot of this if you need to. I won't stay too long on this page, but these are the lead generation tactics that I teach in my course. Knowing that this is going to create freedom for you. You build it once and it's there forever, okay? If you set a goal of how many leads you want every day or week, you don't have to. Some people don't like to work on this every day, and that's great. I'm all about, spreading it out over the week. Maybe it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But the main mindset, time blocking focus is I will not stop until, let's say you wanted 2 leads a day on average to get into your email list. And again, I'm going to talk on how to do that. Well, great. But what if you go to bed one day and you didn't have any people added to your list? Some people would say, well, I won't go to bed. I'll just shoot messages on Facebook, or I'll share a landing page, or I'll add it to tomorrow. You got to think about all these things. And that's just, Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar and different sales trainers and mentors, Brian Tracy, they all talk about that power of full engagement and making sure you get it done, and you reflect at the end of the day on if you got it done and measure your results. I have a lead tracking sheet. If anybody wants one, I'll share that in a second. Even just taking 1 hour per day. Now I said 5 to 10 hours per week was my commitment to get to 2,000. Now that's a bigger number. What is your number? If you want to write that down, knowing that the ultimate goal would be 1,000, the ultimate goal, but maybe you just want 200. That's great. There's no right or wrong here. I say minimum 200, maximum 1,000, and you can do that in 12 weeks, depending on how focused you are and how much time you commit. So set a goal. How many hours and minutes or days during the week are you going to focus on this? And then that power hour, I would usually use that. That's why I had 5 to 10. I would do it Monday through Friday. And then truth be told, I had my assistant help me leverage some of those hours because I was homeschooling, going through my grief therapy process, all of the things from 2020, right? A lot of us had a lot of heaviness in that year, but I was so committed and so passionate. I sold out on it, and I did no matter what I could to make it happen. Making a power hour also helps you compartmentalize it, because y'all got other things going on, right? You got sales, you got kids, you got whatever else, multiple businesses. If you have 1 hour a day, that would be my recommendation, where you're distraction free and nothing else. You don't take a call. You don't check Facebook unless, I guess, you're using the Facebook, but just be careful. You can get sucked into Facebook, right? And waste a lot of time. So just whatever you do, make sure it's distraction free. Pick a day or a day of the week or time of the day where you're going to do that. Don't forget also to schedule the time to follow up. Now, let's say as part of my scripts, I do recommend you start with your warm market, but this works for your cold market too. When you're reaching out to someone by phone, in a BNI meeting. Oh, by the way, if you're in BNI or any kind of networking group, that could be your ask for the day. Hey guys, I'm starting a new free email list, inspirational tools, value, tips, tricks, whatever your trade or craft is. And say, hey, shoot me your email address, or I'll give you my landing page. You can sign up there. That was permission-based marketing is what we call that you're not just putting people into your email list cold, because they're going to unsubscribe probably, right? So you want them to say, yes, I opt into your email list, but that's a quick way to get a bunch of people. But guess what? Maybe not all of them signed up on your landing page. Maybe not all of them, they said, yes, I want to give you my email address, but guess what? Maybe they didn't. And now you got to follow up. So don't forget about that. That's why I said 5 to 10 hours for me. I had my prospecting, getting people to say yes, or getting my landing pages out there. Facebook, social media, those tactics that I'll go in much deeper on Friday. But then also I had to do that follow-up time. So I teach something called about 8x8 campaign. We'll go over that on Friday. Even having email campaign copywriting. I've had people go to Fiverr and outsource it for 50 bucks. I do sell some email copywriting tools. There's courses. I have some templates, but there's some fear. I had one gal who was terrified of the email copywriting component of it, not being a writer herself, and she made a major breakthrough. She actually went to Fiverr. She interviewed someone there. She said, yes, I'll pay you 50 bucks to write my first 5 emails, because that's what I was teaching in the course. And she went out and it increased her income, and she recruited 2 new life insurance agents, because her confidence, her energy, her vibration, her emotional intelligence went through the roof by overcoming that fear and figuring it out. So I'll work with you on that. Scheduling time for landing page, lead magnet content creation. I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. You can't not have a landing page or a lead magnet and some kind of content, whether it's a PDF, whether it's an ebook, whether it's a video. This may sound scary to some of you guys. Maybe you've never done a Facebook Live. Maybe you've never created some kind of a PDF with like the 5 best tips to your ultimate health. Whatever it is, I'll help you figure that out. And also, what can you outsource and delegate? Like I shared with you, I've had a virtual assistant help me build my email list, but then also helping someone build my landing pages, having someone write my copy. I did actually hire a copywriter. I don't recommend it, because now that I know how affordable Fiverr is, but I do have great copywriting referrals for you also. One of the things, this is a quick, I'm going to go through this slide, even though this slide deserves a lot more time. Part of my awakening last year, and when I want to impress upon you, is just the spiritual breakthrough that I had when I started writing again and sharing and believing that I had a voice and that I mattered, right? That I could give value to people. And this book was actually one of the tools that helped me through that. Because again, last year, I still had some stinking thinking. I had my coaches helping me and all of that kind of stuff. But if you want a book, it's called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. I'm sorry, it's not a very clear image. I did that really, really quickly last minute. But within that, it talks about balance. And I say that again, just to remind you that's what's possible with having an email list that you build that can pay you forever. You know, think about those goals, wanting to travel more, wanting to have your voice heard. And the other beautiful thing is I made way more money last year than I have since my real estate heydays, because I connected at a spiritual level with other like-minded email marketers. I had one client who was rejected to speak at a summit, a virtual summit, because he didn't have an email list of 1,000. So his voice didn't get heard. He didn't have the opportunity to share his story. And so I've been partnering with people doing email swaps. That's another way, you know, and part of my passion is to network, you know, so you might connect with someone in my class. There may be some synergies there. I attended a summit last week, and there was people from over 100 countries. And the value that was shared, because we all had email lists and how we could connect at the heart right from the get-go, and how we want to travel the world together. We have these big goals and dreams. We want to give away a lot of money. To me, that's what balance is. So check that book out. That can give you some support as well. This is my last component on time management, just as a reminder about this. And I know it's not sexy or exciting, but these are really, really important, guys, because I've seen it. I've coached, gosh, not quite 100 people now since I pivoted and focused on list building. You know, a lot of times people will say I'm committed and I want to have the 200 to 500 to 1,000 people on their list, but then there's always distractions, right? So making sure you ask yourself every day, and that's part of the 12-week year philosophy too, is does this thing, potentially shiny object, potentially distraction, potentially someone's wanting you to do something for them, or, you know, whatever the case may be, and ask yourself, does this fit my vision right now as I'm building this email list? If it doesn't, don't do it. Are you over committing your time and energy to other things that aren't helping support you? Again, you got to be sold out and have tunnel vision. I mean, you can build a list over a year too. Don't get me wrong. I just know it's like training for a marathon. I'd much rather train for 12 to 16 weeks than a whole year, right? So I can move on and do the next level, the next. So always looking at your schedule, what's important to you? What are your priorities specific to how does it support your email list? Because remember, once you have that email list built, you have leverage, you have an asset that'll bring you $1 million over, depending on how you do it, the next 10 years, 20 years. And then of course, do you have healthy boundaries? Like one of my favorite things is I turn off notifications. I don't have, my phone's on do not disturb 100% of the time, unless I know I'm expecting a call. A lot of people want to make their emergency yours. So I just want to encourage you again to be committed and leverage your time wisely. And then, you know, you'll have more freedom, more time, all of those things to then go and do whatever it is that you're really passionate about after. This is just a quick testimonial of a client that I worked with last year. She actually started with me before the pandemic, so we didn't do list building right away, but these are the kinds of stories that I love to share and hear and be witness to. Being able to help Kathy help her sales team. She was actually able to buy a house for the first time in her life in the midst of a pandemic because she leveraged her time. She got it figured out. And now she's living her best life heading into 2021. And that's my wish for you, whatever your goals and dreams are. If you haven't already, and this is an example of landing pages, okay? So we're transitioning into that. These are a couple of landing pages that have made me money and have given me leverage. You can take a screenshot or just, I can drop these in an email and send them to you if you want. I probably will do that just so you have some examples of what to have as that lead magnet on that landing page and making it super simple. So let's talk about that. So you can see this young lady, you would love to have her find your landing page. This is a little presumptuous because she already has her credit card out. Obviously, people don't necessarily always buy the first time they meet you with the landing page and on that first email. In fact, I teach a system. It's called EIEIO, that you give value, you inspire, you encourage, you educate, you engage, you invite them. And then the fifth email is where you should be making money. But you had to have a landing page. What is a landing page? That's something that draws you into your email list or your tribe. It's not optional, guys. It's not optional when it comes to list building. We'll talk more about technology options on Friday. And then there's the why behind the landing pages. So number one, and I know we have some people in other countries. So GDPR is a big deal. It's actually big here in California too. So if you're in California, you have to know that you can get sued if you add someone to your email list and they're not happy about it, right? So you got to make sure that you have a landing page that also says that little box that says this is GDPR compliant. I'm paraphrasing. But that's basically, you know, you're giving something of value. People are saying, yes, I agree. That's numero uno, why landing pages matter. Number two, it looks legit. It gives you credibility, right? If someone says, hey, you know, David, what do you do? Cheryl, what do you do? Then you can actually say, well, you know, I don't have a lot of time to chat right now. Can I send you my landing page? It's also a simple digital business card that's easier to look at than a full-blown website. And I have a lot of web developing friends and business partners now. We refer back and forth. Don't get me wrong. I spent $5,000 on a website last year. I'm still paying for the hosting and stuff. I didn't realize how much more important landing pages were. Some of you guys know my coaches, Eric Lofholm, Jamie Atkinson. I looked at their websites and I was like, dude, these are kind of outdated. And you guys are making millions of dollars. And they're like, oh yeah, it's all in the landing pages. Because if you have different products and services, and I know like Raquel, you're a translation guru, you help translate people's websites. If you want different landing pages for different languages too, right? There's a lot of things to think about in that respect, but landing pages are very, very simple. And it allows to start your email campaign because there's something on that landing page. Again, very, very simple. I'm going to show you a quick example of mine. I'm going to go ahead and stop the share really quickly. And then show you my daily compass and guide one. This is my most recent one, guys, and it's already made me money. I want to share with you. I got created an email campaign series, all the things that I teach you guys, and this is how simple it looks. Okay. So I did buy a domain. You don't have to do that, but I bought dailycompassandguide.com. And it's basically, in this day and age of juggling all the things, distractions and time wasters that cost us the most money in the world, and basic questions. And then in big print, sign up here for your free daily compass and guide and lead tracking sheet. Some quick, testimonial, or not testimonials, but quotes to get people to think, to really go and specifically speak to pain points. If you go to my website, loiscovey.com, it's like a buffet. It's too much information. It's too busy. People get lost in it. So landing pages are quick, simple, and easy. And if you have multiple businesses like me, you want to be able to have landing pages for each product, service, and ultimately you'll create lead magnets and email campaigns for all of them. Remember, we're just focusing on your first one. If you don't have a landing page yet, these are just some of the quick things that you want to think about. And then right here, it says download now. You should be able to see, ask for their first name, last name, best phone number. You could say mobile phone number. That's optional. I do require first name and email address. And then when they give that to me, when they fill that in, I'm going to take you to my thank you page. So there is usually, for lead magnets, landing pages, you want to give them instant access to that lead magnet. So click here to download. And of course, make sure to check your inbox right away because you're going to get an email from me. Now, I will say, and I've learned this the hard way, and I coach on this in my course. It's too much to go over right now, but almost 90% of the time that email will go into spam if they've never gotten an email from you, no matter what system you're using. It happened to me with my mentors who taught me a lot of this stuff. And so I will teach you tips and tricks on how to avoid that stuff. So let me go back to the slides, getting close to our end time here. Like you guys can see, I have a lot to share. So I'm hoping to take a deep breath here and see if anybody has a couple questions. So lead magnets, let me just make sure I'm on the right slide. Okay, so we got the why behind landing pages. That's what helps you also build your email list. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to teach this on Friday, but you still can ask friends, family, people in your BNI chapters, your networking groups, your platinum protege, any of you guys that are in masterminds. You can still ask someone directly, and if they give you permission because they're your friend or family member or colleague, you don't have to go through the GDPR thing, right? It's more for those people that maybe don't know you and like you and trust you yet, but you want them to. You want them to become your dream customer. And we're going to talk about on Friday how to find your dream customer. So lead magnets bring value and get people into your funnel. They're also, not surprisingly, not optional for your business success. in list building. So what should your lead magnet contain? What are the best, simplest things that your lead magnets must fulfill? Remember, sales is service, so is email campaign, so is your lead magnet. You're always bringing value. You know your customers' pain points. We talk about that in my class as well. You know their pain points and how you can fill that need. And you want these three things. You want, number one, it's a quick win, not overly complex. Since most lead magnets I recommend are free, my list build course, if you know that one, it's $37. I'll talk about that later, but most lead magnets are free. Like my daily compass and guide sheet, and then I send emails to follow up on how to use it. It's a quick win. They got it instantaneously. It's pretty straightforward. They print it out, they start using it. It's easily consumed or accessible. That kind of goes with what I just said as well. And then of course it solves that problem. And here's the best part. It's absolutely 9 times out of 10 evergreen. Again, what that means is you've built it once and it's there forever for them to come back to. If it's a video, maybe you're given some tips on, again, what is their pain point? How do you fill that need? I know a lot of lead magnets that are videos, PDFs, or ebooks. Again, you can go to fiverr.com and hire someone super affordably to do that. If you're not a copywriter, you know, all those things you can, I know people who have recorded their voice for what they want to say and then hire someone to transcribe it so that it can become their ebook, their PDF. And if you have, some of you guys might be published authors, a great free lead magnet is the first chapter of your book. It could even be you reading the first chapter of your book. If you like to connect at the emotional level, video is very, very powerful. So I'm going to go ahead. Okay. Those are all my slides for the moment. I've got, let's open it up for Q&A for the next 7 minutes. I actually went through it faster than yesterday, so this is great. We have a little extra time. So can I add them automatically to my list? Absolutely. Those are the people that, again, I would recommend. That's for people that you have some kind of a relationship with, BNI and friends, that maybe acquaintances. You still get a verbal permission. Because I will tell you a story. I had a gentleman who I was coaching who was going through his process. He still had fear about talking to people and believing that he had value and getting them in his list. So what he did was he took all of the business cards he got from BNI and all the networking meetings, probably from the last 5 years, and he added them all without their permission. And guess what? He had a high unsubscribe rate, and he might have gotten a couple of emails with some choice words. So just think about that before you, let me see here, just seeing if I missed. Yeah, Karen, I hope I answered your question about 5 to 10 hours a week to get to 2,000. I had my coaches, I had accountability, and I was committed, right? And I did have one email campaign where I swapped with another email list builder, another influencer, Jenny Harkleroad. Some of you might know her. She helped bring 50 people into that list of 2,000. And then I kept building. And now that I've done a lot more JV and affiliate type stuff, I'm at 4,000. So leverage other people, do a webinar with someone. You both have landing pages, opt-ins. Now it's part of my business plan, and that's something I would help you with if you join my class, the 2021 business plan on how to continue past the first 200 or 1,000. And then you can outsource it to a virtual assistant. I can coach you on that. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I can, Mikkel, I do have, if anybody's interested, that personal virtual assistant. They are in the Philippines, but they speak phenomenal English. very coachable, trained, educated, seasoned. I just give them my script and they help me through LinkedIn and social media for $6 an hour. It's super affordable. Best investment I've ever made. So it only ends up costing me $500 a month part-time because they work 4 hours a day for me. They help market my webinars, my landing pages, speaking engagements. Best investment I've ever made. Landing pages, this is a great question. And if I'm missing your question, because I didn't see the whole chat and it's just takes more time for me to go through them all, then if you might want to come off mute and ask that question. Landing pages are not websites. In my opinion, they're better. And you don't have to break the bank to get them done. I mean, Lead Pages, Infusionsoft, or Nowsite are the systems that I use for landing pages. I can make a new one every hour, unlimited, for every single different product or service. I've got probably like 40 landing pages. Again, I showed you my example. A website is way too busy, has way too much stuff usually, and it's about your whole business. Landing pages is one thing, one free offer or lead magnet or one webinar or I use landing pages for my webinars. I even have a landing page, 2 landing pages for my podcast. I have a landing page for List Build with Lois. I have a landing page for my course that I'm going to tell you guys about here just briefly at the end.
I have a question.
Sure. Go ahead.
My question is, I already have a list of 200 people that have already purchased my PDF art lessons. Can I use that list even though they didn't physically opt in? Yes, I want more, if they've already bought something from me.
Great, absolutely. I want to make sure I understand fully. So they bought something from like a website or a landing page, or how did they buy it?
Yes, they bought it from a website, Christian Art Lessons. You download it. It's a downloadable PDF art lesson. And so I have this 200 people that I have sent emails to. A couple of people unsubscribed, but is it okay to continue to email them?
Absolutely. What I would do, this is coming from professionalism, right? And high values, high standards. I would still, because I have a guy that's in my List Build this class right now who he had like a dormant, dusty email database of like 50,000 people. So he crafted an email, and this is what I would tell you to do too, saying, hey guys, you purchased something from me in the past, and I thank you so much for your business. I just wanted to make sure you can opt in and give permission to receive future correspondence, inspirational tips, tricks, tools, advice, whatever it is that fits your proper language. I'm just giving you a bunch of different examples that I've coached on, just to make sure that they know it's coming. You're still going to get some people who unsubscribe. And guess what, guys? That's okay. That is brilliant, actually. I'm excited when someone says, hey, Lois, I'm unsubscribing from your list, because that means they're not my dream customer. And I have no problem with that. But I would do that, like connect, welcome email, and give them the option to just say, hey, would you like to continue? This is what you're going to receive. And maybe come up with like 3 things that you're going to be following up, and maybe tell them this is what to expect. That's what I do in my welcome email. When someone comes into my list, I have a welcome email crafted that says, hey, this is what you're going to receive. I'm not going to, send you crap. It's not going to be spam. It's going to be high value tips on sales, tips on list building.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah, but this will be the last one, and then I will save the chat just so you know. And yes, you can use the same protocol with newsletters, email campaigns. Language doesn't matter to me. I just say email campaigns because newsletters are a pretty big commitment. Even though I send emails now almost every day. So you might think, well, that's an even bigger commitment. Newsletters are a great start, but you just have to decide how often and when, and can you be consistent with it, so that if you're inconsistent, people have perceptions. So it's just important to be as consistent. David, go ahead.
So I have a couple of leads lists. One that I bought, and of course people had to opt in to get they say they want information on whatever it is, like a business or something. So I have a whole like 10,000 emails there. Not everyone's going to subscribe. I understand that. And then I have another one it's a program that um, gets information from network marketers or people who are or were in network marketing. Could I put those into my email list?
Again, it
Create
sort of depends.
something, maybe create one little, like maybe one little series just to say, hey, this is who I am, and just to see if they're interested.
Yep, as long as it's giving value. I know the GDPR thing is scary for some people, and you don't know if they're in Europe or other countries. It's really a big deal. So I really doubt that you'd get sued by anyone just to say, hey guys, I'm excited to stay connected with you via email. If you want to continue receiving these, opt in. And most systems have an opt-in option, or that's where you might want to even create a landing page to send in the welcome email and say, hey, if you'd like to receive information about XYZ, click on this landing page and go there. Then you're empowering them to choose, and you might even send 2 or 3 follow-up emails to make sure they got it. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. So
Lois, can I ask something with time quickly?
really quick, really quick, guys. This is your last chance.
Okay, so we've done business in the virtual tour space with the wine farm. So I've got a list of about 3,000 odd wineries in South Africa that we want to offer the service to that we did, to the one wine farm. Mm-hmm. So can I start it with an email and like, hey, this is where we are, this is what we did, can you set up a meeting, or can you start an email campaign like that?
Yes, again, as long as it provides value. And if you have like a landing page that gives them an opt-in with the GDPR compliance, that's the most ideal for sure. And keep in mind, we can talk more about that on Friday. I'll have more Q&A time on Friday, just so you guys know. What I'd like to do now, thank you guys, fantastic questions. And if I didn't get to your question, if you can email me at lois@loiscoffee.com, I'll make sure that I include that in the curriculum on Friday. And speaking of curriculum, just so you guys know, as a thank you gift for being here today and Friday, hopefully you guys can come back on Friday so we can finish out my sneak peek of training. This is essentially what you guys would experience with me 2 hours every week, whether it's 4 weeks, 12 weeks, 6 months, 12 months. And here's a skeleton of the curriculum. I used to call it Inner Circle. It's actually not that anymore. I taught a college course, so that's why I use the word syllabus. But in the first week, we're going to start building your list. We're going to confirm which email database or CRM tool that you're going to use. We'll talk more about that on Friday. We're going to have your vision, your mindset, your why clearly taken care of as well. What is the number? We're going to set a goal on that first day. Actually, we set a goal of how many people do you want subscribers inside of your list? Where do you find them? We're going to talk about your free offer. We're going to make sure you have your time blocking set in stone and you're committed. How much time every week are you going to work on? So that's week 1. Week 2, we're going to work on your emails, whether you use Fiverr, do an email copywriting course, do it yourself. I'm going to coach you on all of that. Talk about the first 5 emails that are going to be received. Once they say yes to your lead magnet, obviously we have to work on your landing page as well. You be building your list the whole time, getting your subscribers, getting your people to say, yes, I want your information, or I want to support you. I want to be on your email list. I talk about all of that. We get your landing page started, if not done potentially in week 2, we definitely get it done in week 3. We go through continuation of completing your 2nd and 3rd emails, and maybe you already have some of this done. We're just going to take it up a notch and tweak it, refine it. A lot of times the classmates will get onto each other's email lists and learn through this together. And then of course, by week 4, we're going to hit your target email subscriber list goal. whether it was 100, 200, 300, 500, 1,000. We're going to complete what I call is my 8x8 campaign, which I'll get to on Friday. And you'll be having your free offer page, finalizing that, as well as if you have that done, we can work on your tiny offer, what's called a tripwire offer. That's how you actually monetize your email list, is having something that is of small enough value to sell, to offer, to get people paying you by that 5th email. That's always my goal, is you're not just sending out emails for the sake of sending out emails, right? You're going to give value in those first 3 to 4. And by the 5th email, there's no reason you couldn't be making money in that first 30 days. Again, if you are committed and go through that. Also, it says 2020, but we'll talk about your 2021 continuation plan. What is it that you're going to do after those first 5 emails, after those first 8 touches, because most sales happen on the 5th to 12th touch. That's both offline, and I've experienced it now personally myself in my email campaign. So I was able to make money over the holidays without having to work. I just had my emails going out to people. And then how many people will you continue? Like I started out, I hit the 2,000 mark after 12 weeks. Now I've got 4,000. So I kind of slowed down a little bit, but again, you don't have to go that big. I just want to make sure you have a consistent lead generation plan once you move through that process. So if you have any questions about that, that class starts next week, Tuesday. And if anybody wanted to sign up for it by Friday that attended this, I am going to be giving a discount. And just because I do have to run now, I can, if anybody wants me to email my landing page about this class so you can see more. Otherwise, no pressure. I just want to make sure I gave you the information just so you know what's possible and beyond today. And space is limited. I do only allow for 10 people in the class that starts next week. So I'll send you guys that information. Thank you guys so much for making the investment of time here today. And again, email me your, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I save this chat before I dive off here. Make sure you guys send me any questions if I might have missed. I don't want to have missed any questions. You can charge it to my head, not my heart. All right. This is a little embarrassing. Did they change things on Zoom? Because I'm not seeing how I can, there it is. Save chat. Awesome. All right, guys, same time, same channel on Friday. Look forward to seeing you then. Appreciate you guys. Have a great week. Be safe, stay healthy, and start working on your on the stuff that we shared today. If you can get, even talk to a few people and start thinking about your lead magnet and free offer, then you can bring more questions to me on Friday. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.